had this idea earlier today and I just had to try it. So what I've created is a board that my rolling road frame would fit in this first area, and then in the second area a tender chassis would fit in there, and then in the third area several of these breadboard pieces would fit in there. So this is a thin, like 10 millimeters and about 3 or 4 millimeters deep, so these things just cradle in there. And then these were little cubby holes for parts. I thought linkages and screws, and maybe I need to make them a little bigger for some PC boards, but I don't think so. But maybe jumpers, I don't know. And I went to print this thing and it was 13 hours, and I thought, oh my God, that's crazy. So went to plan B, and I make it open frame. So now I'm just going to print the frame. It's 3 hours or 7 hours, excuse me, 7 hours. So it's much better. But in any case, I'm going to glue that down onto a piece of foam board, poster board, like for a project board, and use that temporarily for the bottom. I think if it works, then I'm going to print a full plastic piece, three-dimensional. But the idea was to be able to hold an engine, like a completed, all of the elements for an engine, like a project, like Leon, K5, Margaret's, whatever. And so this would be the parts and the components, and then you would be able to hook us up to power off this test board, and you could actually test the smoke, the reverse, everything you ever wanted to test. Plus this fits the rolling road, so the chassis would be sit there rolling. This is your tender, how you're going to assemble it with the wheels. If you needed to, you could put a shorter piece of track in and put that up, and a full piece is too long. I don't know how I could do that. I could lengthen this, I don't know, okay? This is first shot. So then this would be the test pieces, how you wire in jumpers and whatnot. So sensors and buttons and triggers and all that could be over here for testing purposes. So you could actually run every component of the assembly through test and assemble all in one fixture or one frame. I named this assembly and test board ATB. I was going to do frame, and I thought ATF was too close to government agencies, so I went with board, and it's not exactly right, but anyway, that's the idea. That it hit me, and I wanted to do it, so I did, and there it is. I don't know, we'll see. He started, and as you can see, I've designed it so that it will maximize my printer's platform. It's right at 300 by 300. It's pretty maxed out. It's sort of like 350 by something. But at any rate, it's pretty maxed out. It's going to be fairly big. But as you can see, right, this would go here, the tender would go here, the little PC boards would go here, and then cubbies would be up there. I think that could be, and that's an engine. And that would be the tray to hold all of the engine platforms, chassis, wheels, and then cubbies. I may need to raise the sides of the cubbies if you're going to put wheels and other things in there, because you could put the tender trucks parts in there, the side frames, right? Side frames. You could put all those components up there, the axles, the shafts, all that. All of that you could put up in that area. Yeah, it looks small now I think about it. But at any rate, this, I think, is going to be fun. But it's going to take 7 hours to get it even without windows, or with windows, empty, no base. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it down onto something and then use it that way. So it'll end up being a divider. But now the first layers I print slow to make sure they stick, all right? So you're going to see it's like crawling, like why is it so slow? But it's about 20% full speed right now. And it'll be pumping it out pretty good. This is a direct drive extruder the extruder was way over there and it pushed it through this tube, but now it's right here and it pushes it down. And it's just, this part, this extruder is from Micro Swiss, and it is amazing. We print brackets, you know, you get the parts you have to print. It has a new level sensor, which is kind of unique, and it even has a knob so you can like turn the filament in and out once it's warmed up, and it's just awesome. It has improved my print quality triple. I mean, it really gives me a lot of more detail in my parts. It's so accurate. And of course this bed level sensor is quite accurate as well. I already had in here a hot metal in, so I could go up to super hot, you know, like, I don't know what I get to, real hot, okay, on the nozzle temperature. Some of them need that. Some of them need like 300 degrees or whatever. I can do that. The other thing I wanted to point out was my struts. You know, I added these struts here. They're like an anchor point out in the frame up at the top, and this frame I have here is extremely rigid, much more rigid than when I bought it, because I added these struts. However, if you see this, when this thing goes all the way over, it hits up here because it gets on the Empire State Building. And these slots, they have to be along this groove behind there, these screws go in those slots. So I think what I'm going to have to do, since it comes over almost to here, I'm going to have to cut this off. I can't go on the back side because I got something else back there. That's one of the lift screws for the lifting the whole arm up. So I'm going to have to lose that particular screw there, and I'm not happy about it, but I just feel like it's so strong and so stiff, it will survive that. If that's all it gets, it'll survive that. So, you know, you do one thing and you impact other things. Oh, look, this is the top. See, these are going to be the tool part cubby holes, and it's going to do all this first layer real slow, and then it's going to kick into overdrive. So yeah, it looks slow. It's 3:30. It's not going to be done. It'll be done late tonight. I'm just not going to say anything. If I do, she gets worried. You know, I'll come down and check it. It should be done by the time we go to bed. All right, that's what I'm doing now. And then and so since that's printing, oh, and I completed another board. I have another live well done. Its amplifier burned out. I replaced the amplifier, and this board is ready to go. So I've got 2 fully complete ones. I got a brand new chip ready to go. It needs a board, but I'm a little afraid. I got these ones I have assembled before, and I'm just not sure I'm confident in them. I'm a little nervous about them, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to have to build a new board. And this was one of my junker boards that I thought it was acting out on me lately, so I may test it again and see if it's still viable, but it could be like a permanent test board for other things. So I have 1, 2, 3 boards ready to go. I wanted to have 6. I do have more. I mean, I can test another one and test it and see, build another one and test it and see, but slowly I turned. Oh yeah, I got to move that notch back. Yeah, well, it happens. Oh, this is the one I don't remember if I tested this one or not. I got to solder this thing on. I think it's ready to test. The problem is it's elevated a little more than I want, so it may have to be a permanent test board. I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. But I'm close. I'm really close on a lot of fronts, so I got to keep chugging. Got to keep chugging away. There's another one. I think he's dead. I think he does bell ringing constantly, and you can't shut it off. I don't know why. I think this one is just dead, and I'm not very confident about changing boards once they're soldered into the main frame. If you don't have sockets, they're very difficult to pull out. I did this. I did the soundboard over here and it was pretty much a butcher job. I got it out and I saved the pins, and when I put the new one in, it worked beautifully, but it was a little hair raising. To get this one out, to get this big board out, it's much worse. So I think I'm just going to leave it be. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. So I'm going to see if I can get the 5th board, and then I'll get on with it. Okay, new idea for a thing to help assemble and keep these. I mean, look at this, parts everywhere. It's just, oh man, over there's worse. So there it is. It's an idea. We'll see. I think it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be, at least it's a start, right? It's something. It's one. And even if I tweak it later, I can make the boxes bigger, smaller, change them higher, lower, whatever. It's mine, right? And if anybody else wants one, I can send you the STL file, and you can take 20 hours and print your own. That would be fine. I'm not inclined to try to print these for anybody because they are so long. Okay, I'm out of here.